TIFU by having sex in my parents' bed and accidentally getting my dad caught in an affair. This was a long time ago. When I was a senior in high school, my parents decided I was old enough to be home while they went away to a couple's resort somewhere in the Caribbean. Being a good kid, I kept my promise to not have any parties. Being a not-so-good kid, I invited my girlfriend of the time to sleep over while my parents were out shagging each other silly on some pink sand beach, or so I assumed. My brother was away at college, but I still slept in the bunk bed we had growing up. I did not think it would be very good for sex, and it was too skinny for two people to sleep on. I was pretty sure she would not want the top bunk all to herself either. So I changed the sheets in my parents' bed and planned on doing all the sleeping and screwing there. There was an initial ick factor, but when you are young and horny and there is an entire bed and entire house to have sex in, you get over that sort of thing fairly quickly. Here is the screw-up in anticipation of more consecutive days of sexual activity than I had ever imagined possible. I had purchased the big box of condoms. It had like 36 rubbers in it. I figured it would last the first weekend, and then we could go get more. I am not sure why, but at some point I took one out of the box and tried it on. Maybe I wanted to make sure it would fit on my enormous penis. Yeah, that is probably it. Anyway, it seemed okay, so I took the condom off and threw it away. Then I hid the box with the other 35 of them in my dad's nightstand. I mean, I did not want my girlfriend to see a giant box of condoms sitting right out in the open. She might get the wrong idea about me. As it turned out, I never got to use any of the condoms. My girlfriend had also prepared for the big event, without telling me about it. She had seen an obgyn and got a prescription for birth control pills, and she had timed it so that they did be effective before our ultimate shagathon, and so the condoms remained, unused and entirely forgotten, in my dad's nightstand. This is not about the actual shagathon, so I will just summarize it as awesome. Fast forward nearly a year. I am now living in the dorm. One night, I get a call from my brother who tells me that mom-dad are getting a divorce. She apparently caught him cheating on her. I will never know the full details, but from what we could gather, it went like this. One mom found a giant box of condoms in dad's nightstand, and it was opened and one empty condom wrapper was inside. I did not remember doing that, but it made sense that I would. 2. She accused him of having an affair, and said she had evidence, meaning the box of condoms, but not being specific at the time. 3. He believed her without asking what evidence exactly, and admitted to having had an affair a few years prior. 4. Huge fight, angry words exchanged, lawyers engaged, divorce imminent. It took a second, but then I remembered the 35 baby barriers I had left in my dad's nightstand. Blame the fog of war or something. I definitely had not been thinking about cleaning up after myself. Granted, my dad's inability to keep his zipper shut was not my fault, and it is possible that he might have been caught some other way. Unlikely, though, since the affair had been completely over for more than 2 years, and it is not like they had a perfect marriage. Things were pretty messed up long before all of this. I am pretty sure that the Caribbean vacation had been sort of a last-ditch effort to rekindle their spark. But the initiating event was all mine. Too long didn't he read left an orgy-sized box of condoms my dad's nightstand. My mom discovered it and saw an opened condom wrapper with no condom in it inside the box. Mom accused dad of having an affair, citing my leftover box of condoms as evidence. Dad, not realizing that the evidence cited was none of his own, admitted to a prior affair. This was the tipping point for other marital problems, and provided my mom with a reason to divorce my dad. Note: I have no idea whether or not they cleared up the mystery of the magically appearing condom box. I never told anyone in my family that they had been mine, and nobody else ever speculated about it. My guess is my dad kept his mouth shut because it was too late, and no one else had any reason to discuss it. Your dad didn't see a giant box of condoms in his nightstand for that long. Yea, there were bigger factors at play. God damn it, there is a penis joke in here somewhere. I can feel it. I think I feel it too. His girlfriend sure felt it. You have to tell your mom and dad. The outrage of finding flagrant evidence like that lying around is much more emotionally harmful than just the affair existing, especially if it was a couple years ago. Even if it was bad before, you have permanently hurt your parents' relationship by using their bed and giving them inaccurate impressions about each other. It is going to suck, but you need to tell them so they can decide for themselves what to do knowing everything. Yay, and maybe that will bring them back together and they will take you and your GF with them on their next awesome beach vacation. I had a similar parents' house to myself with my girlfriend back in college weekend and used their bed instead of the shitty futon I used when I came home. Problem was they were too in love with their annoying chihuahua and I could not even sleep the first night because I kept getting eaten up by fleas 1 or 2. But that is 1 or 2 too much. Showered and went back to that shitty futon with the GF, applied Advantage in the morning. I don't know if anyone else said this, but tell them, if adultery is cited in the divorce and the condoms given as evidence, your dad will look like a right dick lol punny. It's one thing having an affair and another having it in the marital bed. It will proper screw with your man's head having to get into that bed every night assuming the worst. You read that is a nod for cheating, but don't let them assume your shag sesh was him. I enjoyed your confession, absolutely hilarious. Been there, done that. It's not your fault. If something like this had happened and your parents had a healthy relationship, they would have talked it through and eventually come to the conclusion the condoms were yours or something. It wouldn't have led straight to a divorce. I really hope you don't blame yourself, because I blamed myself for a lot of trauma that happened with my dad. That's what happens when you get manipulated for your whole childhood though. Again, don't blame yourself. Your parents must have had a rocky relationship and in a way, you helped them. They weren't happy obviously, so now hopefully they both better off separated. Hope you okay OP. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.